Looking at the first quarter activity, it actually looks similar to the first quarter of 2016. The biggest difference being inventories are tighter. There are fewer homes available on the market, and depending on where you are, Northwest Michigan covers a wide market, so if you're in downtown Traverse City, you're going to see a significant shortage of inventory and lots of wild activity and overbidding. The further you get out into different markets and rural markets, whether it's waterfront versus non-waterfront, there's a wide range. So when you're looking at markets, we'll give you averages, and the market statistics are average market numbers for each price range and each county. Sales are up from last year just a little bit. Inventories, new inventories, so markets, new listings coming on the market actually are down a little bit. So inventories have shrunk, new homes coming on the market have shrunk, which causes that inventory shrinkage, and sales are up but not up that much. So one of the reasons that sales aren't up more than we expected them to be, maybe because buyer demand is about the same and maybe even a little higher than this time last year. But the month supply of inventory is reflected in that. In other markets across the country, you can knock 2 or 3 months off of that, but because of the resort seasonality of sales in Northwest Michigan, you add a few months to it. So 6 months for a buyer's market versus it might be 3 months in the Detroit area. And certainly under 250, we're in clearly a seller's market in that inventories are tight and we've got about 3 months supply. In the 250 to 500, we're closer to a 7-month supply, so still sitting on the seller side of the market. And we're up over 20 months supply in the above 500. And one of the things to keep in mind is that all price ranges, about 40% of all sales, all price ranges are selling, homes are selling within 60 days. So when you look at that, then you know that if your home has been on the market at least 60 days, enough people have seen it to have made a reaction about how they will look at that property. And so after 60 days, if you haven't had the activity you'd hoped for, haven't had an offer, you may want to start to make an adjustment of condition, of price, or something. Look at the market, because you've had enough people look at it, and that's whether it's a $800,000, $600,000, $300,000, or $125,000 across most Northwest Michigan. So it gives you a sort of a benchmark in activity. And we're having about 20% of the transactions sell with under 30 days. So what's caused the inventory shortage? A number of things. A lot of people refinanced. They purchased their home in the last 8 to 10 years. They have interest rates under 3%. Interest rates now are going over 4%. So it takes away the incentive necessarily to move up or change unless your income is going up. And incomes have not been rising that fast for the last 6 or 8 years. They are now. Also, baby boomers have been working longer. Now we find there's a little more larger retirement community in Northwest Michigan, but the reality is that those that have lived there for a number of years are working longer and therefore not necessarily selling as fast, and that's holding back. The other is new construction. Has not been a huge new construction market for Northwest Michigan, but the reality is that even now it is smaller and lower than traditionally it has been over the last 20 or 30 years. And new construction generates inventory. So those things are holding things back. So we don't expect the inventory shortage to change anytime soon. It'll probably run through this year and probably even into next year as well. But over time, it will be released because there still are a lot of sellers who have been waiting to sell for a lot of years. They're just not doing it for a lot of reasons as we discussed. But over time, life changes and things happen and they will sell and they will release some of that inventory. So overall, we're seeing the first half of 2017 to be probably a little stronger than we expected, and actually probably a little bit stronger than it was last year. Now, last year was a good year for Northwest Michigan real estate, so therefore we're heading off through the right direction now for this year and expect this year to probably equal. And although we thought it would be less than last year, at the moment, optimistically looking like it might even exceed last year's activity. So that's the market. Thanks.